This podcast is brought to you by Sci-Fi, the world leader in psychology fitness training. Sci-Fi is scientifically proven to help you optimize your physical, mental, and emotional performance through functional training of your brain, body, and breath. For the first time, have your own clinical psychologist, personal trainer, life coach, breathwork teacher, and mediation instructor all in one. Instead of having to wait months or even years for results, you get them in 75 minutes or less. That's the Sci-Fi difference. Rewire your brain, retrain your body, and refocus your breath. Learn more at psyfi.nyc.
It's been said, you, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit to keep moving forward. That's what Life's Tough, Boxers Are Tougher is all about. I'm your host, Matthew Pomara, and we explore a mountainous challenge that someone in the boxing industry has had to face. In the guest corner is the fighting pride of Youngstown, Ohio, with an outstanding record of 29 wins against only 5 defeats, with 23 big wins by knockout. He also has an impressive 36 acting credits to his name. His story was featured in the movie Heart of a Champion and the documentary The Good Son. Please welcome to the podcast the former WBA Lightweight Champion of the world and International Boxing Hall of Famer, Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
Well, man, that was pretty impressive. I'm flattered. I'm honored by that. Thank you and good night.
Well worth it. But look, this thing we could tank this right here, because I got to ask you a question that's it's always tough to start a podcast with a controversial question, but I got to ask you a controversial question. So I know you're a Youngstown, Ohio guy. I had heard secondhand, this is a rumor, that you're actually a Steelers fan, which I was very happy about. But then somebody told me that's absolutely false, that you are not a Steelers fan. You are a Browns fan. And then somebody else told me you were a Bengals
fan. Well, they all lied. Not a Steelers fan, by no means.
Okay.
I like the Brownies. I want my Brownies to do well. They've been letting us down for years. But me, I tell you, through the years, when I was on the way up, I was an Oakland Raider fan.
Oh, okay. There you go.
And when I met John Madden, and John Madden, when I was fighting with CBS, he used to do Madden on the road, an interview. But I told him his whole lineup. He said, "Oh my gosh, oh man, you had defense, you had get Tatum Eyes across the middle, Dr. Death, Phil Piano." I said, "You had Sistrunk, on one side, you had Dave Dolby on one side, then later on Matuzik." I said, Villapiano, the Stork, Ted Hendricks. I was giving him his whole lineup. I said, and then before, and then of course, just the Snake, and then you had Warren Wells, then you had Clifford Branch. So I was giving him his whole lineup. He couldn't believe it. He said, "Oh my God!" So I was an Oakland Raider fan. But look, I'm about players. Like growing up, I was Leroy Kelly.
Okay.
Erich Barnes,
fair enough.
For the Browns. So now, but through the years, like my son Leonardo, he's been a San Francisco fan from day one, without knowing the Youngstown connection, without knowing anything.
Yeah.
He's just like the colors. Now, I admire him. He sticks by him, man. He sticks by him no matter what. He's been there from day one. My other son, he likes, he's been a Chicago Bear fan for a long time. God bless him. There you go. Me, I go with players. Like when I was a Peyton Manning fan. So when he was with Colts, I was a Colt fan. When he went to Denver, I was a Denver fan. Okay. I don't mind no bones. I go with players, So now all the guys I liked are gone. I mean, so who am I rooting for? I want the Browns to do well. We have an opportunity to succeed. For whatever reason, we ain't doing it. We can't get over that hump. But I do like this kid, Josh Allen. Buffalo Bills was close up. So, I like that. So I'm Cincinnati. I did root for Joe in a championship. I really root for Joe. So, it's football is always becoming fun again. It's becoming fun again to watch these young gunslingers and stuff. But really, I'm not a fan of any particular team. I'm a fan of players at this point in my life.
Nice. All right. Fair enough. All right. We'll call that one a draw. So that was nerve. So I had heard, somebody had told me, because Ed O'Neill I think it was Ed O'Neill that I heard it from, not directly, but secondhand. He was like, "No, Ray's a Steeler fan." And I'm like, he's an Ohio guy. I can't see him being a Steeler fan. So that's got to be pretty funny.
Eddie says that because he had to try it with the Steelers. You know that story, don't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So,
Chuck,
yeah,
Chuck.
I don't even think Eddie's not even a Steeler fan, but he says, right. He knows. No, our town of Youngstown is literally split down the middle because we're 60 miles northwest of Pittsburgh, 60 miles southeast of Cleveland. So we're literally the halfway point.
Yeah.
We're 450 miles east of Chicago, 450 miles west of New York City. So we are primarily located in more than one, centrally located in many ways.
Are you still in Ohio? Are you in Ohio now? I know you lived in California too.
I've been back since 2014. I was 30 years in Santa Monica, California.
Yeah.
But I'm back in Ohio since 2014. I love being back. My youngest went off to college. I sat my two oldest down and said, look, man, because I'm with them every day. I have an opportunity to go back for business, but I'm not leaving without you. I said, Pop, you did your job. Go. We'll come see you. You'll see us. Don't worry about it. Now, after that, my one son went raised it. My youngest now is in New York. My daughter's in Miami. My mother's son's back in LA. He was in New York for a little while, then he went back to LA. So now, two of them are closer to me anyway now. So
there you go.
It's life. Your kids get up, they leave, and you say, yeah, here's where I'm going to be. I'll come see you, see me. And, that's life, right? But it's been good. It's been good. I enjoy being back home. I came back for business purposes. I came back to create a full digital media studio. See, they don't call it a movie studio. It's full digital media. Movies, series, scripted series, commercial, music, whatever. I came back to create that. And the town's been very good to me. And so I have not one particular place. I've narrowed it down, but there's a couple of areas in Youngstown, a couple of places that we're zeroing in on. I've been back here for a while. And, the town wants things to happen. They're rooting for me, but, I never had to deal with Youngstown politics before. Now I do. Now I does. Now I does.
All right, so that's a good question. So let me ask you. So what's tougher, the boxing business, politics, Youngstown politics, or the movie business?
By far, the entertainment business is much more popular because people always ask me, what's tougher, the movie business or boxing? I said, look, in the ring, I control my own destiny. Absolutely. I win, I lose. It's in my hands. This business, very little is in your hands. You can only control so much. I'm a producer, right? So I own the content, I own the IP, I raise the money. But now, but whether it all comes out of distribution. If somebody wants to distribute it, can you get the actors? So it's much more involved. And as an actor myself, acting, what you see up on screen is up to the editor and the director. It's not up to you. So even if you think you're kicking ass on this project, oh man, I knocked it out. You may not end up. Some of the scenes may not even end up on screen. Oh, what happened? Yeah, it didn't fit. It didn't work for that. For whatever reason. So the entertainment business, because you have control over very little. That's the reason why it's the hardest by far. And that's why my son's an actor, and it's been hard for him to get an agent. He's won awards up on stage. He has credits. He still can't get an agent. And he's like, Pop, I don't understand. I said, don't worry about it. It's going to happen because you only need one. See, that's the only business. You only need one to take a shot. You don't need 5. You don't need 10. You don't need 100. You need one. But that's the important thing. You just need that one person. And it's difficult to find that person.
Now you're doing, so I saw you're producing movies now. I saw, you had one just recently that you have in, I guess, is it in development or are you just about there?
I'm in development. Well, when that came out in August, it came out theatrically. We had 50 theaters around the country. A little psychological thriller called 645 that should be up on streaming in the next couple of months. We're getting ready to make that deal. A number of pre-production on projects to start shooting. Hopefully May, June. As soon as the money's in place, I got commitments. Now we got to start dumping the money. It's actually a very good time to raise money because it's tax season, and a lot of people have to dump money. When you hear that term, it's true. Instead of giving it to the government, there's a thing called Section 181 in America that if you invest in up to $10 million.
Yes, I know it well.
If you invest, you will write off 100%.
Yeah.
So I tell guys, look, man, we're going to make money. I got worldwide distribution. Very few, 99.9, I'm not going to have it in place. I have it in place. worldwide because of relationships I forged. But the worst case scenario, I can, because of the Ohio tax credit, Section 181, I can guarantee you between 60 and 80% of your money back now, without even starting to shoot. Right now, I can guarantee you at least a minimum of 60. And I said, so 20%, you figure if the movie was a flat bust, you could still sell 20%. So only 20% is at risk, 20%. And then look at it. I said, I have all the statistical proof. I give every reason why it's the best form of investment. See, movie entertainment is the best form of investment. Why? Because the least amount of startup money for the biggest return in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah.
We give you 20% big on your money in 18 months.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody giving you 20% on your money. And why do you give 20%? People say, why are you giving 20? Especially now. They said, because everyone looks at it as oh man, movie making, that's such a big risk. On the contrary, I have all this, again, statistical proof to show me the risk is mitigated down to minimal, which I just told you. But if you take this shot, I'm going to give you a higher return. Ain't nobody giving you 20% on your money now. Nobody's giving you 10% on your money now. So, okay, that's the pitch. Anybody's interested?
Dude, we're gonna have a so when this airs, we'll make sure that it posts underneath. Yeah. We'll have people contact you for opportunity. That's a great. Let me tell you something. That was a great. That was great for me.
I meet with different for investment groups. I talk with them, financiers, and I just tell them that's the fact. And the fact I go worldwide, people say, "Oh, it's such a risk." I said, "It's risk for 3 reasons." Here's the reason why movies don't make money. One, it's a terrible script, and no matter how bad the script is. 2, you got a terrible team producing, lack of from the people from below the line and above the line. They don't have enough experience, lack of experience. That's it. We're very, our team, budget constringent, time constringent. Boom. We have it down to a T. And 3, because you can't get the star value. Movie makes it about star value. You got to get actors who justify the budget. So
boxing, right? It's the same thing as boxing. You know that better than anybody. You're a superstar.
You can't find if you ain't the right fight, no matter what. So and if you get some movie making, it's just a lack of experience by people, or you just have people just don't know how to make a movie. It's just lack of the talent, lack of execution. It's real simple. It ain't rocket science. It's pretty basic. And it's a numbers game. You make it for a price because you can sell it for a price. And the fact that but 99% will not have distribution. Again, I have that. So I already know projections what I'm going to be making or what we're should be making because of the genre and the actors attached. So but it took me 30 years education that I paid for myself.
Well, I got to tell you, you're passionate. You can tell you're passionate, right? You're definitely. It's awesome to see. It really is.
I know what I'm talking about, and I do know and I know my business. So I can go in. I've sat with the head of studios. I've had the head of studio production. I've sat with the heads of studio distribution, and I've sat with Wall Street investment guys, telling them why this is the best form of investment and why you should go with me with investment because here's what I can give you and my team. It's all about people don't invest in movies; they invest in production teams, right? It's like if you buy a sports franchise, you don't buy the team; you buy in the front office.
Yeah,
you buy the front office. How's it run? Who's the GM? Who's the coach? Because if you got the right GM, you're gonna have the right coach. You have the right coach, you're gonna have the right players. If you have the winning coach, you're gonna have a winning team. Period. End of discussion. But if you got, if you're flipping, like they do a lot of these teams, flipping coaches and flipping GMs, there's no continuity. So
you're right, and they can't develop. You can't develop any kind of plan. No. Absolutely.
And that's all another thing. So I could like to consider myself a sports historian, not only a boxing historian, a sports historian, and tell them that there's you just got to look down, man. It's a track record through the years of teams that have succeeded because they have continuity. It's consistency in that team.
Hey, how do we start this call? We started the call talking about the Steelers, right? And that's the Steelers. The Steelers have had
one of the best franchises, one of the best. Because in the Brownies, you had their owner in the middle of the night still taking them out of town. So where do you go from there? in the darkness of night. He kidnapped the team, took them to another city. You can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. Oh my God.
Oh my God. This is even better than I thought it was going to be. I'm super excited.
Where you located? Are you in the city?
No, I'm on Long Island. I actually live around the corner
New
from
York. That's Long Island. People are from Long Island. You ain't from New York. Man, you're to Long Island. That's a whole different place. Let me tell you something. Them Jets and the Jets and the Gents, they got problems, man.
Oh,
you got some marquee players that you're gonna ruin. You know, I always tell people forget that how bad Chicago Bears were for years.
Oh yeah.
Walter Payton. They were terrible. They had nobody. But Walt Payton was still making 1,600 yards a season, which made him so great. So when he finally had a line, that's why he's the greatest runner of all time. But he played like Barry Sanders, played behind a crap line.
That's why he finally gave up. He finally had enough. He finally was like, forget it, I'm out of here. I'm not like,
Barnes is a special talent. They're going to get this brother busted up. Bro, he's already got injuries. They're going to end his career long before it should be if they don't give him somebody.
No, you're absolutely right. So so look, the name of the show, right, is Life's Tough Boxers Are Tougher. We talk about
boxing. I forgot we're talking boxing. I forgot.
Oh, we can talk anything. So and by the way, so life's toughest challenges, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be boxing. So we say life's tough, boxers are tougher. Tell us why you're tougher than life.
Well, first of all, it's a special. I don't want to say special man, special people, but a special breed of guys who want to be fighters. And not because I'm part of that. I'm not saying I'm special. I'm just saying it's a mindset. Look.
Well, you're pretty special. No question.
Boxing comes to you. You don't go to boxing. Meaning this. You don't pick boxing. I want to be a fighter. It's like a puppy. I tell people, you go to the dog pound, you go to a pet store, the dog picks you. The puppy picks you. You don't pick it. It picks you, right? That's boxing. There's a need. It's a deep intestinal need to want to do it or be part of it. Nobody wants to be in the right mind wants to go and get smacked around in the gym or go in the gym, a ring and get smacked around. Nobody. But that's part of the deal. That's part of the deal. You want to get smacked around. And some days, and every day's a different day. And you got to let it go. That's one thing, you got to have elephant skin. You got to have elephant skin. You know, one day you're going to do great in the gym. Next day you're going to piss poor and take an ass whipping and live it. Yesterday's over. You learn about the past is the past. Look forward to the future, but being in the moment. Boxing is all about being in the moment. And that's what I tell people when I went into the entertainment business. They said, oh, if you're the fighter, it's acting. I said, no, I'm acting. After I did somewhere, at first, yes. After I did several television and several films, and I did off-Broadway stage, I said, no, I'm the actor who fought. Because you got to change the mindset of these people. Because, and what I'm getting to is boxing is you got to have a mindset that, no, I'm better than that. When I think I'm just a fighter, no, I'm not a fighter. I was a fighter, now I'm transitioned. So, and so when you go into boxing, you have to say, I'm better than I'm tougher than this. This game can't beat me. No matter what happens in the ring, what happens in the gym, I'm bigger and better and tougher than that. My mind is too strong. My heart is too strong. My balls are on the line. They can't beat me. Just can't beat me. So when you go do a fight, after you have a fight career, you go into any other business. And this entertainment business, they try to knock you down. They try to chop you up. They try to bust you up. I laugh. I go, you can't beat this. It can't beat me. It can't. It can't deter me. It can't discourage me. You can't. I'm going to be there. I've done it already, but I'm not where I want to be. Not where I'm going to be. So, but it's a mindset because when you're in the ring, literally taking an ass kicking, or figuratively, it's basically the same, except one hurts a little bit more. That ass whipping takes a little bit more.
Well, physically, sure it does. Yeah, so look, when we talk about this, right? So your biggest challenge and what you had to overcome is transitioning out of the boxing business, which a lot of your brethren stay too long.
I've tried too many.
Yeah, stay too long, and then you've had to make the transition from that to being an actor. And I make you laugh, but I remember when you were on Who's the Boss. So
That was the first thing I did. The first thing I did. You know, it was an act of me and Tony having fun together.
yeah,
But you got to be comfortable in front of the camera. I'm very comfortable in front of a camera. So that never that never fazed me. You know, you go on for auditions, you go on auditions, I'd be sitting there, you know, you get your lines and you see people going around, fans flailing, and they're going over the lines and they're getting, you know, and sitting there going, I said, ain't this something like this going, ain't these something? These people are stone goofy, man. These people are crazy to bat shit. Trying to do, you know, and you know, they're just, you know, the old saying. I never thought you saved the performance. You know, so you do the audition, save the performance for the audition, not well, you know. But I just said whatever it takes to people to get there, it's a whole different. You know, my whole way of doing it, getting there is different than most. You know, like when I go for our audition, I shadow box people. I said because it keeps me loose, keeps me sharp, keeps me on mine. I have shadow box in the back room, you know, away from people, and they're going, okay, and I come in, and they go, oh yeah, you feel look relaxed. I said, yeah, it's just back to shadow boxing. Shadow box keeps me relaxed. That's how you get. That's because that's where I come from. And it's anything. Whenever I have a meeting, business meeting, I shadow box, and you know, nice and easy. Don't get sweaty, because it keeps me up, it keeps me sharp, keeps my mind, you know, body and mind together. And so yeah, it's you know, entertainment, the transition. Look, you become a fighter. There's nothing in life you can't accomplish. Nothing accomplish or you can't come up against and figure I can beat this. I can win. I don't know how yet. I'll figure it out while we're in the middle of the battle. Because it's like a boxer. It's like a fighter. You know, they said you have a game plan. So we're not football. You have a fight plan, what you want to do, how you want to attack. But it's not a football. You go out there, you get smacked on your ass, get smacked on the chin, you get knocked on your ass. Guess what? It changes everything real quick. Real quick.
What's the Tyson line? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, exactly. That's the truth. That's the truth. You know, and so like people like before the fights, a lot of guys were talking and everything, and I slapped her. I'm like, it don't mean nothing, bro. Because when the fight starts, you're gonna see me all day long, all night long. You're gonna see me all night. I'll be in the grill all night. This don't mean nothing. I just laugh. People thought they, you know, psychological. I got Mancini. He said, yeah. If you beat me, it's because I beat myself. If I tell people, I didn't, well, let me correct this. I always tell people, if you beat me, you beat me. I didn't beat myself. Meaning, I didn't get caught up in a bull crap and I didn't get caught up in the talk. If you beat me, it's because you were better than me that night. So, but what I'm saying, with the verbal talk, there's nothing. It's got to be this. You beat me, it's because you hit me more than I hit you. Bottom line. It wasn't because I was afraid. I'm coming forward anyway. Whatever you say is not going to deter me, you know, and I own it. I'm coming forward. You hit me, I'm going to come back harder. So that's my style. It's like Smoke and Joe. Guys talk to him. Smoke laughed. He used to laugh because you're going to be up in your grill all night long.
Yep.
Oh my God. So
Forward.
when people talk, it just makes them sound stupid. You know, all they did is psychological warfare. But every time he did it, Joe used to love it. Because Joe used to bang that left hook on him, bang, 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 you know, rattle around left hook off his chin, off his head, off his ribs all night long.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And you're obviously your style was, you know, forward aggression. And
right. I wasn't quite Joe because Joe is much like my father. My father used to make the joke, Raymond, I never took a backward step. Never. But sometimes I wish I did, you know, but look, I was a little more scientific, a little more, not say scientific, but I was a little more of a boxer. I could box when I had to.
And you can move. Yeah, you can move when you
I
need
did
to.
that in the gym because you never know what's going to happen. If you get cut, you know, like the second Bramwell fight, I'd look like Willie Pep out there for a while, bing, bing, but jab moving, making a miss, kind of, you know. But it's what I'm saying is you have to be able to do things, and you do that in the gym. But people say, man, you could really box. Yeah, but that's not what got me to the title. My coming forward. But if I have to adjust, I can adjust. And sometimes when you bleed and cut, you know, you have to be able to box. So.
You know what I want to ask you too? I read this too, is that your father Lenny, did he actually fight as a heavyweight also at the end when he was
no.
Oh, okay, because I know he was you know, like the 5'6" range, and somebody again, I think I read somewhere that he was.
That's my father right there.
Yeah.
Right there. My father's 5'2". 5'2".
Wow.
But he was a fireplace. My father was 5'2" this way. He had a barrel chest this way. Let me tell you something. Well, I know what you're talking about after the war. And I'll tell you what. And then he wasn't heavyweight, but He fought light heavyweights.
Okay,
All right. He fought as a middleweight. But he fought, there was a couple fights he had, Baby Sims, guys were 170 pounds. He was 163, 64.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting at. But he never fought as heavyweight, no.
Okay.
Not fun. Here's the one thing I'm proud of. My father from that generation was the number one contender from 1942 to 1944. He signed to fight for the title in January of 42, got drafted. In February of 42, got drafted in January of 42. But they still kept him number one contender, even though he was in the war service, until they couldn't no more. He already fought Sam Angot in a non-title fight and beat him, which got him the rematch. It was but the thing, but after he got shot up in the Battle of Metz, which other than the Battle of the Bulge was the most destructive war in the European theater of operation, he came back and he was in the hospital for 13 months. And then when he finally got out, it was Ray Arcel, who was his trainer.
Ray, famous.
If you get down to middleweight, I'll trade you. My father was 190 pounds. And he came down and he got down to 160. But on a 5'2" frame, he went in number one lightweight contender. So, but my father was built like a fireplug. So that's why he was able to carry that way. And still, one thing I'm so proud of, never knocked out or stopped his entire career. Over 100 fights. There's only two other guys of that generation. There may be more. So anybody, but those two I know for sure. Billy Graham and Kid Gavilan. They never stopped or knocked out. Look, Ray Robinson got stopped. They can say what they want. Billy, that the weather beat him up. Well, okay, he still got stopped.
Yeah.
Joe Louis got knocked out. A lot of guys. Marcelo never got knocked out. Or street unbeaten, right? But I'm saying he was the generation after my father.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the 30s and 40s. Only two guys, Billy Graham, Kid Gavilan, and my father, were never knocked out or stopped in any fight. So the fact that it makes it more impressive that my father was 5'2" lightweight. After the war, he went up to 5 foot and fought light heavyweights, middleweight. Now these guys would be considered junior, super middleweights or light heavyweights.
Yeah,
it was never knocked out or stopped. That's impressive.
That is impressive. So talk a little bit. So we talk about challenges we've had to overcome. How much of your father's of that your father's generation and your father's guidance, how much did that help you in your transition from becoming a pro fighter and becoming a champion, of course, and then moving on and then turning in and coming in and battling it out in Hollywood? Talk about that a little bit.
My father was everything I wanted to be as a man, as a fighter, as a father. He was my hero in every aspect of life. And people say, "Oh, you're a fighter because you're a father." I say yes and no. Yes, because he's, as I explained, he's everything I wanted to be. But he's the one, no, because he's the one who tried to talk me out of it.
Absolutely. I was going to say every kid, every father tries to talk their kid out of fighting.
Depression. I had to eat. You have so many other opportunities. You had an academic as well as athletic scholarship to go to college. Had a professional baseball offer by Toronto Blue Jays. And I said, no, I want to win that title for you. So Mark Kriegel said it best in the book. And he said, my whole construct of fight was different than everybody else. Because boxing tradition, as you know, is a sport of the poor.
Yeah.
20s it was the Jews, 30s was the Irish, 40s was the Thais. Now it's the Black and Hispanic. Tradition is the impoverished. They fight for economic need. I didn't come from that. I come from middle-class family. I went to parochial school 12 years. But one thing I do, I travel the country.
Parochial schools, speaking of getting your ass beat, you mean?
Oh, yeah, the nuns, they whip your ass, all right? Bend over, touch your toes, type of stuff. Yeah, none of that. And, but I said, now when I travel and I talk, I said, look, I come from a middle-class family, loving family, parents stayed together 50-something years, they're married. But let me tell you something, you guys from broken homes, I understand, we all have a cross to bear. And we can all use any excuse. And you guys, but they should use it for motivation. Because when things happen, you can't say, I come from a broke family, I come from nothing. But because guarantee, as privileged as I was, when I got in the ring, you ain't no hungrier than me. Matter of fact, my hunger may be more because I've had to win that title from my father. You're looking for economic need. So that's why when you fight these guys from Mexico, don't bite your nose off for $1.25. Or somebody from a country, Central America, don't bite because they're so hungry. And that's what I tell you. You can't use that. I come from the ghetto, I come from the barrio, but that's all. No, use that for hunger. That should be your fuel. Absolutely. Because you don't want to go back to that. You don't want to go back to that. You don't want to be that. You want to be better than that. So that's the fuel. But my fuel was different. They won that title for my father. And so when you get in the ring, you ain't no hungrier than me, bro. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna fight you. I'm like a junkyard dog in there. Which if you're gonna, we'll do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Because I believe fighters are born and not made. I was born with that intestinal fortitude to come forward, keep moving. You don't figure, oh, that's the type of guy I want to be. Come forward, take punches to give punches. No, you don't. That's you're born. Fighters are born. They're not made. I'm a firm believer of that. So I was just fortunate. I was very fortunate to be able to achieve my dream, my goal, fulfill my dream, and give it to my father. So, but a lot of guys don't. A lot of guys, and they use it as a crutch where they come from. And I tell people when I go in these jails, and they're looking at me like, "What are you going to tell me?" I said, "Man, you gotta stop. You cause your own pain, your own misery. People are responsible for themselves, their pain, their misery, their happiness, their success. Your girl ain't supposed to make you happy. Your wife ain't supposed to make you happy. Not my job to make her happy. My job is to make it a pleasant household. My job is to be a good friend to you. My job is to have an open relationship. That, hey, man, we could talk about it. You come to me with anything. I love you no matter what. That's what it's supposed to be. So when these guys start talking about everything that's against them, well, push back. Yeah, I got it. You should use that for the fuel. That's fuel for the fire. That's what you should be coming out like a bucking bronco, man, ready to burn.
That's what this show's about, right? We wanted to tell people, everybody goes through struggles, but you have to overcome your struggles. So
Absolutely.
So talk a little bit about that and about how that transitioned into, again, we had said earlier, a lot of people stay too long. You transitioned into a whole nother world that you're actually doing very well in. So talk about how that determination worked for it.
Well, you just said it. See, it's people say, oh, you reinvent yourself. I said, oh, no, don't get reinvent. What am I, an object? I said it's an evolution. Everything evolves. I'm evolving as a person. I'm a better person now than I was when I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I wish, this is my second marriage. I wish I was the husband for my first wife than I am for my second wife. Not that I was a bad husband. I thought I was a very good husband then. But I'm a better husband because when you go through a divorce, you realize people go through pain and you realize what their pain was. Now, I always tell people, what do you do when you go through therapy? And I went to every type of therapy, marriage counseling and everything, all that stuff. They tell you that maybe you don't agree with that person's pain. You don't have to agree with it, but that's their reality. It ain't your reality, but that's their reality.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's their reality. Though I may not agree with it. So but then you realize, that's the reality. There's a reason for that becoming the reality. There's something I didn't do. There's something I didn't say. I must not have shown them how much I loved her at that time. I'm better, but I'm the husband now that I should have been. But I'm happy. But I got But look, the good Lord puts you where you're supposed to be. I don't say why I'm here. I went through my divorce for a reason. Me and my ex-wife are very close to. We love each other to death, but it's just people disconnect for whatever reason. We have beautiful kids together, and we're still partners in our children's life, right? Even though they're older, and our granddaughter's life. We're partners in our granddaughter's life. But my wife now is a great lady, and I tell her that, it's her second go around. It's my second round. I knew when she was 15. I met her when she was 15. I was 20. So, when she was 18, I said, I'm going to take you out when you're 18. When she was 18, I took her out a couple times, but it was right before I went to California. So we got reacquainted, in 2006. And when I was going through my separation, my divorce, so was she. Oh, here we go. What I'm going to do, I believe in fate as far as life and love. I'm a firm believer of fate. I believe, good Lord puts you in position. And, I tell people all the time, I believe in luck, but my shirt just went down. Let me bring it back up. Okay. Luck. You know what luck is? Luck is the residue of desire. Meaning you create your own luck. Luck is not just something that happens. Once in a while, the good Lord shines on you because you put yourself in that position. Good Lord makes things happen because you've given yourself the ability to make it happen. But you are the creator of your own luck. We make our, as I said, I tell my kids this all the time, and I tell people when I do talks, you can't blame your situation. Come from the barrio, from the ghetto, from a broken family. You can't blame your wife, your girlfriend, you blame responsible for everything. Because people, let me tell you something. We are responsible for our own happiness, our own failures, our own success, our own misery. We create that. And we choose to stay in it or we choose to leave it. You create that. I mean, these are the things people have to understand. So when I talk to people and you try to talk to them about motivation, but people say, oh, do you motivate people in these talks? I tell people, I motivate the motivated, which means I can't, you can't motivate somebody who ain't going to hear it. But if somebody's already got the ability to want to do better, to be better, I motivate those people to get, I try to give words of wisdom like somebody gave to me. So, but if the person is just when you to change your life, that ain't going to happen. They got to change their life. So people got to take responsibility for their own, that's the damn thing in this life, in this country, in this world. People want to blame everyone else for everything else except taking responsibility. You got to own it, man. You got to own it. And me, look, I caused my own headache, but it may have happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Guess what? People say, oh, people call karma. Karma's a bitch. The Bible says you reap unto others what you want to reap unto yourself. You do to others what you want done to yourself. We reap what we sow. So if it happened 20 years ago, it doesn't mean I can't. I'm going to get a pass. It may bite me in the ass 30 years later.
Yeah,
and it has.
You're absolutely right.
So you don't get a pass for bad behavior. You don't get a pass for bad management of your life, for mistakes you've made, pain you've caused other people. You don't get a pass for that. It will get you, but when, we don't know. So we try to do the right thing, and we try to say our prayers. We try to find a relationship with the Lord, to find your peace, make your peace. God, please, and go, confess to God. Whatever. Jesus says, people don't want to hear about, oh man, is this a show about religion? No, show about life. It's about life. Life, you don't become successful on your own. You don't do stuff on your own. Stuff don't just happen because it's karma, man. That's the world. That's the universe. The good Lord, man. Everything happens because of the good Lord. So look, we got good things going on in life. We get our ass bit once in a while. We get knocked on our ass. Good Lord allows that to teach us lessons. So when people want to know, man, I tell people, go to church, man. Get a relationship with God, man. Develop a relationship. Find that peace, man. Find that connection with Jesus, man. Find it, and then you'll be able to, succeed and find, and you get answers. All you have to do is ask. And believe me, I've been on my knees more in the last 15, 20 years than I did. I'm 61 now, and the previous 41 before that. Trust me.
So if you're comfortable talking about it, talk about your faith, how much your faith plays a role in your success and your ability to bounce back, right? You've had some challenges in life that you've had to overcome. So talk a little bit about it if you're comfortable. I'd love to hear it.
You just said, my faith is giving me the ability to bounce back. People said to me, and I'm going to go into it, the Kim fight, after my opponent passed away. How did you get through that? I said, my faith, only because of my faith. Because if I didn't have the faith, I'd be banging a needle, banging the bottle, taking the bridge. What do you do? That pain is so agonizing. It's so hurt. It's so great, the pain that you feel for what you caused. Or, if you don't have a faith, it's over. But good, I had a faith. I relied on my faith in God. I relied on my faith in Christ, and it got me through it. That's the only reason I got through my faith. So when people don't, I have people who talk, and I have people who are atheists and agnostic talk to me. I say, look, man, we can talk about this all day long. You're going to give me your reasons. A lot of them sound good, and I'm going to give my reasons. Mine don't sound good. I said, but wouldn't you like to err in discretion? Meaning, when don't you think it's going to be better to believe that there is a God? And when you get to, after life, and you find, oh, it wasn't? Oh, okay, well, harm. But if you don't believe it and you find there is, then what happens?
Yeah,
so
that's a great.
So man, People always talk about, I don't believe. And I give a real quick example, and I won't go into it. I tell people, I said, what is heat? What is heat? They go, what? I said, what is heat? And then I said, heat is the lack of cold. It's just a lack of cold. That's all it is. So there is that mean, but you don't see it. You don't see heat.
No.
But you feel it. It's there. You don't see it. You can't smell it, but it's there. That's like faith. I said, God, what is faith? You don't see it, but it's there. It's what you do. So why? So heat is the lack of cold. I said cold is the lack of heat. So faith, I said, so what you're doing, so when you're agnostic, or you don't believe in God, atheism is just a belief that but you don't see it. It's just that, but it's there. It's just you don't see it, you don't smell it, but you have to ask for it. You go feel it if you ask. So when I tell people, so would you rather err on air? Would you like to err on discretion that maybe I'm wrong, but I believe God. When I believe in God, I believe in Christ. So when I die, oh, there He is. But if I'm wrong, well, guess what?
You're a great person no matter what. I agree. I'm with you.
And then you believe it. Oh, I don't believe that. But when you get there, guess what? God says, you didn't honor me when I was in your life. So there it is. Guess what? And people make jokes about it. I've had guys talk to me, friends of mine. I say, man, look, keep that stuff to yourself. Keep that shit to yourself. That's what you faith. Don't. That's okay. I love you. I pray for you. I love you. I hope you, God, good Lord, something happens in your life that'll change that. Something happens in your life that'll change the way you think. That's it. I love you no matter what. You're my guy. And maybe it's your first, because maybe I'm putting your life for a reason. You put my life for a reason. But the point I'm trying to say is, I don't make that. People ask me all the time, what happened to the fight? The fight was a great fight. Other than what happened, if what happened didn't happen, it would be on ESPN, greatest fights of the century, or not century, of the decade.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not going to get carried away with it. It was a great fight. It was a great fight, man. But because of what happened, nothing good about it. And
of course.
So that's why people say, how'd you get through it? Only my faith. That's all you get through anything. If you grieve, if a couple has a baby that dies, blame God. A lot of people do. But then you have to ask God, why? Why? God, we're not going to get the answer right away. You got to have the faith that's for a reason. The good Lord made it for a reason. For whatever the reason is, we don't understand yet. Same thing with my opponent passing. What was that reason? I don't know. Eventually I'll find out. Because I was at the top of my game.
Yep.
I had more things happening for me. Before that fight, after that fight, we were going to sign 3 deals with a national breakfast cereal company, a juice company, and an apparel company. They were all placed. And then after the fight, I became like the plague, man. I was avoided like the plague. I didn't understand at the time. I understand it now, of course. Yeah. I didn't understand it at the time. And so, but what I'm saying is, things in my life, for whatever reasons, I'll never forget when I was going through our divorce. My ex-wife said to me, Raymond, why us? Why us? Because we do love each other. We did love each other. We did love each other. Why us? I said, why not us? Why should we be exempt? We did this. Nobody else. We did this. And only we could put it together. But you know what? Why we couldn't get back together? Ego. Ego got in the way. Your ego, my ego, your ego, my ego. It's a back and forth. Guess what? Ego gets you your ass whipped as far as life and love. It'll whip your ass in life, your ego. And I found out figuratively and literally with my marriage, my ego to come back and fight a fight I had no business being in with Hagen. I was been out of the ring for so long, I got in the point, not because I thought less of him, I thought more of myself.
Sure.
But I was an actor. I had one fight in 7 years with Camacho, and that was, and I won that fight. But
yeah, you got ripped off.
But I fought that fight because I knew I wasn't going to get hurt. I was doing an off-Broadway play in New York. I was doing an off-Broadway play, and all of a sudden I get offered, would you come back to fight Greg Hagen? I loved acting when I acted, but it's the stuff in between, the business part of it, Oh, business, Jesus, man, business, because you have no control over that. The only thing I control is me, right? So in the ring, I feel I can control I said, and plus, boxing is not physical. I mean, acting is not physical; it's mental. But I said, you know what? Yeah, I think Craig Hogan, tough guy, can't punch much. Yeah, it takes good ass whipping. Yeah, I'll come back to fight him. I went into that fight, and my son was born November 28th of 1991. I went in training camp February, a couple months later, and the fight was April 3rd. And every day at 3:00, I get up, I could do road work, come back, eat, do whatever, take a nap from 10 to 2. Get up at 2, start getting ready. 3:00, start getting my stuff on for the gym. The song by Eric Clapton, Tears in Heaven, son would come on, and I'd sit and I'd be bawling like a baby, crying my eyes out. Couldn't control it, couldn't understand. I mean, I understood because I missed my son. I felt guilty leaving my ex-wife with my kids, my wife at the time, leaving my wife with the kids, and being away from them. And here's the last thing you need to know. In the dressing room, I said, I don't want to. I told my trainer, my assistant trainer, Chuck Fagan, I said, Chuck, I don't want to be here today. I don't want to do this. He said, well, it's a hell of a time to tell me now, ain't it? Hell of a time to tell us now. I was like dead man walking, man. And I knew. But here's the reason. When I used to go into a fight, I said, hey, man, either you're getting carried out or I'm getting carried out. One of us is getting carried out here tonight.
Sure.
That was my intent. This time was, God, please don't let me get hurt. My wife, my babies, they need me. Please keep me sick. That's no excuse. It's just what is. My mind wasn't that. I didn't have it no more. So I got beat the way I should have. I took a bad ass whipping, as I should have. But Greg Hogan is the type of guy, he ain't beating nobody. If I'm right, he ain't beating me. If I'm fighting.
No way. No shot.
I beat him.
No shot. Yeah.
And that's but my ego got involved. That's what I'm talking about. Ego gets your ass whipped because I thought of who I was. There's a story that people don't know. But a month and a half after that, I was living in Los Angeles at the time. I got a call from John Curtis from Forum Boxing. The Forum Boxing was Jerry Buss had owned Los Angeles Forum. And he'd do boxing once a month. Once a month. And John Curtis was the guy who ran it for him. But a month after that, John Curtis called me and said, hey, Boom Boom, man, would you be interested in fighting Miguel Angel Gonzalez for WBC, BO? What was it? Title. I said, did you not just see me? He goes, yeah, man. We talked about, well, that's not you. That's not you. I said, who the hell is it if it isn't me? Of course that's me. That's me now. That's me now. I can't fight no more. Thanks, man. And he offered some stupid numbers. He said, you're going to actually turn down that type of money? I said, how much money you think you'd give me for my self-respect?
Yeah. Look, and I admire the fact that you're being honest about it, because a lot of guys would have taken that check, gone in and taken the whooping. I hate Haugen too, just on a side note.
I can't stand him either. No,
I can't stand him. This is
not a good guy.
Total
not
jerk.
A good guy. And everything to this fight, he still puts up a fight. It was a good day. And I laugh. Hey, he did it. He won. I
can't. Yeah, I
tell Greg,
such a jerk.
When I never forget, we were there doing pictures before the fight. We were, taking photos. He's over. Oh, Ray, I'm gonna beat your ass. I said, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I came back because I know what you can do. You can't do. You can't punch a leg. Shut the fuck up. And take the picture. And he's like, but look. Give what he says. My point is, I thought of myself more. My point is, but I wasn't ready for the training camp. I wasn't ready to experience. I never.
And you don't play boxing. That's what people never get that.
I had never been married when I fought before. I didn't. As I said, if you don't get carried, you get carried. Now, right about a month after I fought Camacho is when I got married. Now I just had the birth of my second child. So my mindset was all that. Again, no excuse, just what is. I couldn't have beat anybody that night. I was destroyed mentally. So I had a great training camp. The training camp is nothing but a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
Trying to convince myself along the way that I could do this. When in reality, I knew I couldn't.
Well, Ray, I can't thank you enough. This is phenomenal. We do something on the show now. We call it the Fast Five. And I got a couple of questions I want to ask you. You give us your honest opinion on it. And then we'll go. All right. So let's shoot it out. So
Okay.
McKeon played you in the movie. Any current actors you would like to play you now?
You know, after the Good Sense came out documentary, they're talking about the studios called me about doing it as a film, right? And I said, who'd you see playing you? You know what? I have no clue, to be honest with you. I could, as an actor, I love, there's actors, I'll tell you what, there's actors I love. Tom Hardy, English actor.
Nice. That's great. That's a great pick.
My son turned me on to it. My son's not really known as an actor. You know, my actors, you know, Pacino, De Niro, the guys right of that generation. But the new actor, I'll tell you one guy, not to play me, but if I could work with anybody right now, Bobby Cannavale.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. That's a good pick. I like that
I
one.
love this kid. Now, we're around the same age. Plus, him and my kids are the same. Half Italian, half Cuban. His mother's Cuban.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And my kids are Cuban, right? So I love Bobby Cannavale. But anyhow, but that's not the reason why. I just love this kid's work. But I love Bobby Cannavale. But to play me, you know what? You'd have to get a guy. You could, you know what? They'd find actors that you never knew of. I didn't know if they'd find somebody.
I don't know, man. I think you're not off on Hardy. He can pull it off, even though he's English. He can pull that off. I could see that. Again, I don't want to jam you up, but I'm going to ask, who makes better sauce, your wife or your mom?
My wife's an excellent cook, but so is my mother. But if I said my mother, but my mom would say, Raymond, give it to her. So my wife. But my mom, you know, my mom's Irish. My mom was born in Jersey. Right? My mom was born in Hackensack, Moonachie, raised in Hackensack, and then all her teen years in the city. So my mom was in New York, Jersey, New York girl. That's where my father met her. I always tell people, I got my father was my inspiration. It was everything I wanted to be. But my mother was my motivation. My mother made me believe I was 10 foot tall. My mother made me believe she said to me, Raymond, the only limitations you have are those ones you put on yourself. You could do anything and be anything you want in this world. My father would say, hey, I love you just because you're my baby. You ain't got to do nothing. My mother said, no, you could be anything. You could do so much. Don't be, challenge greatness. Go out and try to be great. My mother taught me that. So, that's good. She's a great lady. But my wife thinks better sauce. How's that?
All right, there you go. Fair enough. Especially because your mom was Irish. My mom was Irish. She couldn't cook a lick.
No, my mother learned her, but she'd cook her ass off. My mom could cook her ass off. She was great. Hey, between them, and my mother cooks it better than my wife. My mother cooks better sauce than my wife.
All right. Anyone you wish that you could have shared the ring with that you didn't get a chance to?
Yeah. Fight that should happen. That didn't happen for only two. I pulled out of 2 fights, and it was the same guy. And because I got, it was, once I broke my collarbone. I was training in South Africa. I was supposed to defend my title against Kenny Bogner. It was the chairman of the champs. Davey Moore was going to fight with Duran. Frank Sinatra was going to do a half-hour concert, and then I was going to defend my title against Bogner. Chairman of the champs. It was never before at that time. 1983, May 25th of 83 was supposed to happen. Had never happened before. It would have been the first time. And then, but I broke my collarbone. They tried to get another fight, and Sinatra said, if the kid ain't doing it, I ain't doing it. So I'm really flattered by that. That's and I always felt bad because that gave Duran an extra. People said Duran wasn't in the best of shape. Gave him an extra month to get in shape. And then, of course, he beat Davey the next month in New York, right?
He did.
But Kenny Bogner.
All right.
I'd have beat his ass. I would have beat him. Another guy would have beat. Another guy. Big man. I'd have beat him like I owned him. But Aaron Pryor fight was that. And I love Aaron. We became good friends. He was great. But I felt confident in a fight. I felt confident. People don't realize Aaron Pryor, early in Aaron, even knocked guys out, but a lot of guys were dropping him. He'd go out there, put his chin in the air, he'd get dropped. He'd come back and knock him out. But I said, I'm going to be underneath him. You put that chin in the air, I'm going to catch him. I'm going to keep him down. But that's what you felt. You think you'd take out King Kong, right? But we become great friends. I loved him. And people would say, who's the greatest fighter out of Ohio? I said, well, the top 2. Aaron's number 2. Number 1, Ezra Charles.
Yeah.
Ezra Charles is the greatest fighter I've ever had. All right, both from Cincinnati.
Cincinnati Cobra. Yeah.
But Cincinnati Cobra. People don't know how special it was. He went from middleweight to heavyweight. He passed right through light heavyweight. Fought light heavyweight, but he went to middleweight to heavyweight. but people don't know how special he was. A lot of people consider him the greatest pound for pound fighter of all time. Not Ray Robinson, Ezra Charles, which could very well be. So anyway, but Aaron Pryor. So it would be Kenny Bogner and Aaron Pryor would have been the 2 fights.
All right. Any movie part that you'd like to play, that you'd like to act in a movie? It could be past or present too.
What little American would want to be in The Godfather?
I was going to say, come on.
Who wanted to be Michael? Michael, or some people say Sonny. Yeah, Sonny's much more. Michael's much more complex character, which is why Pacino's great.
That's great. That's a great answer. Yeah. I knew you were going to say that. All right, last question.
Yeah.
Last question. Tell us a clean joke.
I don't have a lot of jokes. I can't remember the one. I do have them. And oh man, I wish I could. I'm not pretty good with that, but I clean ones, pretty good. But I can't think of one off the top of my tongue. I can't think of one.
All right, fair enough. I'm not going to put you on the spot.
Okay. Well,
go shoot.
All right. It's not too dark. No, I do. Boy, Dad's shaving. It was a little off color, but it's okay. Dad's shaving. Little boy runs in. He said, Dad. He said, Dad, we have to do a project for school. The difference between theory and reality. Can you help me? Shaving says, put this razor down, picks up the son, sits him down on the chair. Says, son, go ask your sister if she'd have sex with the neighbor for $100. He goes, sister, would you have sex with the neighbor for $100? She said, well, prom's coming up. I need a new dress. I need new shoes. Yeah, I guess I'd do it. He come back and said, Dad, she'd do it. He said, son, go ask your mother if she have sex with the guy who cuts the grass for $100. He goes, Mom, would you have sex with the guy for $100 who cuts the grass? Well, I need some new dishes. I need some new towels. Yeah, I guess. Because I said, Dad, she said, let's do it. She said, puts the razor up, picks it up, says, son, in theory, we got $200. In reality, we got 2 whores in a house.
Well done.
That's as clean as I can get. I don't know. Difference between theory and reality.
Well done, my friend. Tell the audience where they could find you on social media and where they could hit you.
I'm not a big social media guy, but I am on. I'm on at Ray Mancini on Facebook. I'm Ray Mancini on Instagram. I'm Real Boom Boom Mancini, and on Twitter I'm Real Boom Boom. So Real Boom Boom as opposed to the fake one. Real Boom Boom on Twitter. Real Boom Boom Mancini on Instagram. So.
Well, Ray, I can't thank you enough. This is truly an honor.
I appreciate
you have a Hall of Famer. Great to chat with you.
That's
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time, and I really, really appreciate it. Thanks.
Gotta do it again, Matt. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's going to be the final bell for today's podcast. If you like what you hear, give us a like and hit the subscribe button with your best power punch. You can check us out at Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and anywhere you can find quality podcasts. We hope our stories inspire you to fight on. We thank you for listening, and remember, life's tough, boxers are tougher. Have a great week, everyone.